In the great canon of Christmas movies, there's a recurring character that's familiar. And it's not Santa himself, like Ed Asner's role in Elf.
There's just no Christmas spirit anymore.
But rather, the folks who play Santa. Like in Christmas with the Cranks, which, by the way, is a contender for my favorite Christmas film ever. It's absolutely ridiculous, bonkers, a caricature of the ways we idolize Christmas. And then there's a marked shift in the last 20 minutes that always leaves me weepy by the light of the Christmas tree. The story ends with a Christmas party, and at the party, a guy shows up who's very familiar with everyone. He knows the kids, the parents. He indicates he's watched everyone grow up. And no one knows who he is. Who's Marty? How does Marty know us? Marty's grand reveal is the last swing of exaggeration in the film, and you find out at the end, he's the Santa. The guy who dresses up every Christmas, who year by year, from behind a white beard and fuzzy hat, watches the kids grow up and grow out and leave their parents.
Santa always has to work on Christmas Eve.
I suppose he does.
Yeah, the guy who plays Santa, he's in a lot of Christmas movies. He's the guy telling Ralphie he'll shoot his eye out.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
He's the guy walking to his ramshackle car while smoking in Home Alone. Yes, the one playing Santa is a distinctly different character from Santa himself. And in real life, Santa professionals aren't like these guys at all. In fact, they're more akin to Scott Calvin, the dad who gained 50 pounds overnight from handling a business card found in an empty Santa suit in the Santa Claus, or Kris Kringle, the gentle and kind man in a courtroom defending his legal identity in The Miracle on 34th Street.
Since the United States government declares this man to be Santa Claus, this court will not dispute it. Case dismissed.
In today's episode, you'll meet several of these Santas and Mrs. Clauses, learn their origins, hear about their motivations and what keeps them putting on the suits and coloring their beards, and I think what we'll discover together is that this guy who plays Santa holds a very important key to our well-being. I'm Leslie, and it's niche to meet you. There's a completely unique joy that's present when you're in a room full of these folks.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. It's just like choir on Sunday morning. Okay. And that is why I told her we needed to warm up.
There's a lot of giggling, and yes, lots of unintentional ho-ho-hos. It just comes out of them because it becomes who they are.
Being a Santa for many people is a condition.
A state of being.
Yes, state of mind, state of being.
Mm-hmm.
That's Robert again from Norway. I've heard many of these Santas say something to the effect of, I'm Santa all year long, even if the suit stays in the closet until November.
When I laugh, it's kind of weird because even when I'm in my civilian clothes, I do that. I laugh like that now, especially this time of year because I'm in character so much.
That's Santa Ben, and his first full season was in 2023. But he had spent several years before that as the Santa for his family.
This all started with me, with my granddaughter, to try and get nice pictures for her. Cheap Santa suit, fake beard. And next year was like my wife. You know, real Santa has a real beard. So I grew my beard. And then we did it again, I shaved my beard right after because that's what I did. And then I let it grow the next year and did the same.
But lest you mistake these folks for your run-of-the-mill mall Santas, that's a worthy endeavor, by the way, but these are legit, professional performers whose clients are celebrities, like for Santa Hop.
So we were able to go to Los Angeles and do a private event for Nick Cannon and Brittany Bell. Those were two that didn't make me sign a DBA, so I can mention their name.
So there are more. There are more where those came from that you can't mention.
Hop and Ben are members of the IBRBS, the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas. They're the world's largest organization of Christmas performers. It's the formal name for the Santas and Mrs. Clauses and their associates. And every other spring, the IBRBS hosts an in-person gathering called the International Santa Celebration. And step aside Disney World, because this is the happiest place on Earth. My sister agreed.
I've already seen so many amazing things.
You've already seen so much.
I mean, I've already seen the Santa Crocs.
Where were the Santa Crocs?
Behind you. Well, not right now.
I saw the Santa Crocs later that day. This multi-day gathering is packed with seminars and educational opportunities, ways for Santas to not only learn more about how to look the part, but how to do the job well and with integrity. Among those who gather are ex-military Santas, realtor Santas, black belt Santas, radio DJ Santas, former educator Mrs. Clauses, skinny Santas, non-skinny Santas, all devoted to the profession of embodying the spirit of Christmas. Some looking more traditional and British like Father Christmas, some in a more modern off-duty Santa attire, and yes, there were a lot of Santa Hawaiian shirts. The weekend ended with a parade through Memphis's famed Beale Street as hundreds of Santas loaded into trolleys and packed the Citizen Line Road with their myriad Santa attire. I'm telling you, happiest place on earth. Beyond the ISC convention, IBRBS offers liability insurance, quality background checks, unique service and recognition programs, scholarships, local chapter support, and more. And they're not the only regular large Santa meetup. There's an annual Santa family reunion in Gatlinburg, and these Santas flock to it.
He said, is there some sort of Santa thing going on in town? And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, it's a Santa family reunion. He said, man, I knew I was drunk, but I didn't think I was that drunk.
On the local level, Santas will meet outside of the Christmas season to do seminars, they'll share a meal, and swap stories about different gigs around town. Nashville's Middle Tennessee Santa group, for example, is thriving.
We've got about 16, 17, 18 people here today. That's fantastic. 10 or 15 years ago, this would have been a big group.
That's President Santa Stephen, whose natural Santa giggle is one of my favorites. His style of Santa is on the cheerier and jollier side, but make no mistake, he knows the gravitas of what they do.
And my goodness, if there was ever a time when everyone we meet needs a smile and needs to laugh and needs to be reassured, am I the only one who feels so terrible? No, you're not the only one who feels so terrible. There is hope, there is joy, and there's an awful lot of fun doing what we do, embodying who we embody and spreading Christmas cheer. Now, the offering will occur momentarily.
These folks take their roles very seriously, even beyond the meetups. Many of them go to Santa school.
There are actually Santa schools out there that help other Santas actually do some of these schools or put them on for their fellow Santas.
That's Santa Jay. You might be able to tell from his voice. He's a retired radio guy.
As we speak, I have on red shorts. I have striped, green and white striped socks on, a white T-shirt, and red suspenders. So I'm kind of Santa on vacation right now.
Jay was the first professional Santa I ever met, and I was completely shocked at the formality of the craft of portraying this character.
They have performers. They call themselves Christmas presenters. They put on how to tell a story, how to do magic tricks, how to do, what you name it. It's pretty amazing. But I go to them to network a little bit, to see what other people are doing that I might want to incorporate it into my Santa presentations.
I heard some of this at the International Santa Celebration, like the workshop about reading to children.
My name's Shirley Winter. I've been doing this for ISC for about 12 years now. What I wanted to do was present to you ways that you can engage the children in your reading. First thing you have to do is select a book. And it's not something you just go to the library and pull a book out. Don't do it without reading the book first.
And I attended a seminar led by a tailor about costume care.
Or something like, are you a mall Santa? Okay, so here's the thing. Now, it depends on how many suits you have and what you're doing, but I would put them in garment bags. And then I have
You heard Santa Jay mention the Howard School, And if you remember the first episode of the series, we met C.W. Howard. He's on the Mount Rushmore of Santas, one of the first Macy's Santas. He's a big deal. And there's a prestige that comes with attending the school. You get introductions like this at your local meetup.
We have in our presence today some folks who have just returned from the granddaddy of them all for Santa schools is Charles W. Howard Schools, called the C.W. Howard School.
Legends of this school are just about as holly and jolly as you might imagine.
There's cookies. I'm talking about, there was what, about 8-foot tables? On one side, there was cookies. All kinds of cookies.
In the words of 30 Rock's Liz Lemon, I want to go to there. But as much as it's a celebration of all the happy and joyful things about Santa, it's also about the heavy things too. Here's Santa Ben, fresh off of his C.W. Howard School experience.
First and foremost impactful thing I got to tell you guys is this, and it's a tough one. It's a real tough one because people that know me, I'm ex-military, I play football, play hockey, all this stuff. I don't cry. Not a crier. Half the time I was there were teardrops coming out of my eyes.
As an aside, I'm not sure what he's talking about here because every time I've spoken with him, he's cried.
And I sat down in front, and I sat next to a gentleman, Santa there, and somebody came up and did that tear-jerking thing, and man, I'm there. Good. Break time comes, I come back. He goes, hey. He says, hey, how you doing? I'm good. How you doing, man? Good. Then he says, how you doing? I said, man, I spent half my time crying. Is this something wrong with me? He says, you're the right guy for the job. Okay.
You're the right guy for the job. This job is full of the right guys. There may be some bad ones, some that smell like beef and cheese, maybe. I haven't met them, so we won't explore that here. And being the right guy can look really different, have different styles, performance features, and tones. Here's Santa Robert again.
Some Santas are performers, whereas other people get the reward from the sparkling in your kids' eyes. And although the end result might be the same, the reason for doing it or getting into the thing, or getting into the trade, if you will, is totally different.
These folks come to this role for many reasons. For every Santa, there's a story, even if it starts simply, like for Santa Shed, who didn't even talk about Santa with his own children as they were growing up.
That wasn't something that we did in our house. We said, mom and dad work hard all year. We take care of these things. We want to give you gifts. Christmas is about family. It's about giving gifts to people that we love. And so that includes us giving you guys gifts, but you guys also giving gifts.
Shed is a black man in Clarksville, Tennessee, and he saw a need.
Something happened in 2021. I just said, maybe I can try this. Maybe I can go out and be Santa just to spread love and hope and joy. Representation means a lot to me. And it's always been a lot to me, but that was a space that I felt like I could nestle in and give some context to this representation. We need representation at the highest forms of our government. We need representation at the lowest forms of our government. We need representation for teachers in the classroom. We need representations for doctors.
Shed's not the only one doing this specific work as a Santa. He's helped to start the Santas of Color Coalition, made up of Christmas performers of color and friends in their community. Representation in Santa portrayal is a need, one that historically hasn't been met. And it's not just important for regular civilians to see Santas of different colors. It's crucial for Santas of color to see other Santas of color for practical reasons.
When they train on beard care, my beard is different than your beard. What you can use in yours, I can't use in mine. But during the classes, they don't talk about my beard care. When they talk about doing makeup, my skin is oily, so you have to powder me before you put makeup on me. The color that you can use, I can't use. I have an orange tone, you have a red tone. So the makeup has got to be different. That's why we formed the Santa Color Coalition, so that we can talk about issues that are germane to what we do and what we have to do for us.
This is George, who remembers his own childhood Christmases fondly.
And it was like 9 of us. And You know, how my mom and dad every year pulled that off was just amazing. And everybody had their requests. As an African-American family coming up in the 70s with, 9 babies, all of them in school, never missed a holiday, never missed shoes or clothes and, or a meal. It was just amazing. I'm sorry. My childhood was amazing.
Despite remembering warm Christmases, he noticed something in adulthood about the photos from that time.
My mom had a picture of me and my sister when we were, I think I was in the 3rd grade. My sister may have been in the 1st grade. And she took us to see Santa, happened to be a white Santa. They took the picture. The Santa wouldn't even look at the camera. So it was a profile picture of him, but we were facing the camera. Smiling, my mom had to pay for that picture. She cherished it. Now that I'm a Santa, I don't know why she bought it. I wouldn't have bought it.
Showing these photos to family members years later, they made a heartbreaking discovery.
When I showed it to my older brother, he had a picture of my older cousin from the 50s into the early 60s as a little boy with the white Santa, the exact same profile. So I said, I wonder how many other black kids got pictures like this. And lo and behold, a woman from Texas sent me a picture of her and her sister. Santa's facing forward, but he's looking down. Then Kim Fields, the actress, Kim Fields, posted one on Facebook of her mom and sister as children with the white Santa, the exact same profile. So I said to my wife, this is why they need me.
And it's not just for children. His own mother, the one who made the season so special for those 9 kids, it's for people like her too.
So my mom, who was 84 years old at the time, she's now since passed. I'm in my suit, I'm taking a picture with her, and she's laughing uncontrollably. She's just giggling. And it wasn't that I hadn't seen my mom laugh, but not like this. So I say, Mom, what is wrong with you? And she said, I've never seen a black Santa before.
Shed told me a similar story.
I've had 80-year-old women of different hues say with tears in their eyes, I've never seen a black Santa before. I'm honored to be able to see a black Santa. Hug me tighter than anybody else. Hug me tighter than any kid has ever hugged me. Little old lady wrapped her arms around me as much as she possibly could.
This is the wife of one of the Santas from the Santa's a Color Coalition. She saw the importance of the mission firsthand when she accompanied her Santa to his first event held at a local funeral home. The funeral home wanted to bring some joy to the community as a break from their usual offering, which brings comfort in sadness.
So they had a nice dinner, a little service, and this little girl was like staring at him the whole time. And she walks up to him and looks at him, and the first thing that she says, his first visit ever, the first child that sat on his lap as Santa, looks at him and said, I thought Santa had to be white. This isn't to like replace the Santa we've always known. This is to show other kids that Santa looks like them. Santa's magical. Like Santa can look like whatever the child needs them to, and so.
Just as the lore of Santa is global, the export of the American Santa is worldwide, even in the most unlikely of places, like, say, Jerusalem, where the only certified Santa in Israel rides into town on a camel.
Because I know all the people around the world think Santa Claus come on a reindeer, but we don't have reindeer. We don't have a lot of snow in the Middle East. After 5 years, I think about something, to have a different idea, that I'm going to enter Jerusalem on the camel.
Santa Issa is a Palestinian Christian whose family is the oldest Palestinian family in Jerusalem. And he grew up loving Santa, seeing him in movies, wishing he could meet him. And then one day, he found a Santa costume in his house. He put it on and hasn't taken a Christmas off since. In a war-torn country, Issa's presence brings unity.
For me, always surprised that all religion come to my house. Jewish, Muslims, Indian, all nationality, they come. Christian, everybody come here. I have all nationality come to visit my house. I always open my hand and my house to everybody because we are all people and we are all the same. We say this is the Holy Land, and the Holy Land for me is for everybody. And that's always my message, to give the message of love and peace.
He even has a special ho ho ho.
Ho ho, Holy Land! Ho ho ho!
In the same way Santa can look however the child needs him to, he can also act however the child needs him to. After the break, you'll come with me to a school for children with low vision as their very own Santa Claus greets all of them by name. We'll be right back. Hey, listener. I want to take a quick break to say 3 things. First, I want to thank you for your listening time. We all have so many things we want to catch up on, especially at a time of year when all the best of lists are coming out. And yes, I did listen to Hysterical, and don't even get me started on the new season of Serial. I love that whale. So thank you. It's an honor you've chosen this show for 90 minutes of your precious time. Number 2, I hope you stuck around because you like it. If so, consider joining our email list. Social media is not the place to connect like it used to be, and we have some big plans for next year we want to loop you in on. Find that in our show notes. 3, finally, we'd love to have a friendship with you. If you send us a short email to say where you are and what brought you to the show, we'll send a joke back, like a really good one. In fact, we have a whole intern devoted to writing them, and the jokes are just sitting there, waiting for someone to hear them. That person could be you. Email us right now, hello@niche2meetyou.show. We look forward to hearing from you. Professional Santas engage with and adapt to the world around them. Just like we all learn more from those around us with unique needs, Santas adjust their knowledge and skill sets to accommodate the needs of all children. For example, I heard a lot of Santas refer to waiting for a child to approach them rather than force sitting on their lap or learning how to best serve neurodivergent children.
How about learning what are you supposed to do with an autistic child? Okay? Keep your voice quiet and don't have bells. And don't force the issue. If they don't want to be by you, they don't want to be by you.
Seeing any Santa in action, child after child, feels like a gift. But there is absolutely nothing that can prepare you for observing a Santa work thoughtfully and carefully among children who have special needs. And of all the time I spent researching for this series, my favorite moments that I couldn't wait to share were from my visit with Santa Donald.
Santa's phone's ringing.
We're joining him for his annual visit to a local school for the blind and visually impaired. Some of the students just come for the day, and then there are some that live on campus. Any of the student voices you hear have been altered to protect their privacy. Santa Donald is a familiar voice for them because Santa Donald has been their facilities manager since 2001. He walks the hallways, checking in, welcoming students, fixing things. He's a core figure to the school and its students, many of whom have been going since they were in the single digits.
And then when did you start doing the Santa?
I started 15 years ago, probably, and I've been doing it here about 13.
There's a special sort of magic in the familiarity of Santa. In fact, this is part of what makes us so enamored by him, why so many people tell him really intimate life details. The next episode will put a sharper focus on this particular aspect. Many Santas will share stories of the places they've gone every year. Santa Shed talks about the babies he's watched turned into toddlers through each session at Slim & Husky's restaurant, a Black-owned pizzeria in Nashville. He's their Santa. Another Santa told me about meeting a teenager who had a picture with him when she was a child. I asked Santa Ben about this, actually, and he has a theory about why it matters that we know who our Santas are.
The familiarity of a wonderful time in your life. When you were a child and you believed in Santa, everything was magical. And I think people harken back to that, and that automatically disarms anybody. I think it's important because people rely on me. Isn't that weird?
Now going back to the students at the School for the Blind, they're building that familiarity now. And they're lucky because their Santa's always the same one.
You have the benefit of like seeing these kids
they genuinely see you every year. You're the same voice, you're the same face, you're the same.
See me in the hall, so that's one reason they go.
Yeah.
Look like. I know this
Have
guy.
you ever been called out?
Oh, yeah. Several that graduated years ago that used to come up and say, well, we got to do the picture thing. That's what you got to do it for your parents.
Yeah.
So.
And we met some of those older and wiser kids. They crowded the hallways when Santa opened the door, immediately stopping the teacher's lessons, though I wonder, at this point in the school year, if they really minded.
You looking for me?
Yeah, I was asking you, how did you get here?
How'd I get here? I had my car driver bring me, because my reindeer's resting.
Yeah. Can I go see them?
Well, they're at the North Pole.
No, they not.
Yeah, they are.
How you get here then?
They up there in the farm, but I had my driver bring me.
Santa Donald's work is somewhat unique, in that he serves a very targeted population with specific needs. For example, he wears a bracelet of jingle bells on his wrist so that children can hear where his hands are. Other Santas actually employ similar methods for hand recognition. I met Santa Lincoln, for example, and he wears vibrant green gloves. It's kind of become his brand at this point. They're really easy to see in person and in photos. It's disarming for children and parents. Something about a bare hand from a stranger inviting them to be physically close sets off internal alarms, perhaps as it should. The gloves help with that impact. It's not as intrusive. And Santas are being taught how to respect and encourage bodily autonomy. But for Santa Donald, he's appealing to one less sense than a general population. Though visual impairments exist on a spectrum, his clientele by and large don't employ eyesight to take in their information. And that's informed the way he exists in this role.
I don't know, I've always tried to make a personal contact.
Yeah.
Because some of the kids react different. And most of them, I think, react more to touch. It just feels like they're a lot more closeness. And there's not a lot of that anymore, so.
Yeah.
So he employs closeness, both physical and emotional, carefully and tenderly.
What's your name? Can you hold my hand? You hear my jingle bells?
You said hi.
Can you feel my beard? Is he the one that's scared?
With each child, he asks them how they are, maybe with a chuckle and a ho ho ho.
How are you?
And then he asks them, of course, what they want for Christmas. And some of them have been eagerly anticipating this moment, reciting their memorized list in full while classmates kind of impatiently wait their turn.
Tell me what you want for Christmas.
I want a piano and plastic balls.
Plastic balls.
And then a acoustic guitar.
Acoustic guitar?
Yes.
You play guitar?
Yes, I do, actually. An electric guitar.
You want a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes, and a stand-up piano.
He's right in front of you. Can you smile real big? To your left a little bit. This side. There you go. Say cheese.
All right.
That's a good picture. All right.
All right.
Well, you better be putting that list together for me, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Even the simple comments are striking to me, in the ways that Santa is intentionally caring for those he serves, like when he says, "That's a good picture." It's a dignifying way to affirm the child that the photo actually did happen and that it looks good.
Do you want to sit in my lap? You want to stand next to me? No?
I love you, Santa.
I love you too, bud. Say, look at this big picture. Say cheese.
It is no small thing to have earned a child's trust. And these Santa portrayal artists work to not only have it, but keep it. Not just for themselves, but for every other Santa the child meets in the future, because even if they make their living elsewhere, like as a facilities manager at a school, this is a very serious undertaking.
When they say it's a calling, it's a calling. If you do it right, it's a calling. I always kind of made fun of that because I always thought, the hell, calling, they make it sound religious. Well, it kind of is. You are a representative of St. Nicholas. Okay.
A calling to be a representative. In the next episode, we'll ask the question why. Not just why we like Santa or why we like Christmas, but what about these traditions are crucial to the human experience? And how are these professional Santas facilitating it? Why does any of it matter? We'll hear more from Jerusalem Santa.
We try to give this giving with the spirit of Christmas giving of love and peace. That's the way Santa Claus carry going on.
We'll hear from a Santa with a PhD.
Kids who give schools the most problems, they don't dream. So part of my job is to really get them to dream and have hope.
And a Father Christmas, talking about Father Christmas.
And I think he is an emblem of goodness, of course. So I'm very strongly in favor of Father Christmas, both in Narnia and here.
And finally, a Santa whose job is to teach other Santas how to embody the spirit of Christmas.
You know, and you just hear that one song, or you smell that one smell, and all of a sudden, bam, you're back, right? And you're hooked up to that bigger spirit. That's technically what Santa is all about. He's a representation of something bigger in the universe.
What that something bigger is? Well, we'll talk about that too. All of this on the next and final episode of the Niche to Meet You series about professional Santas. Tell us what you think. Who was your favorite Santa? What was the story you loved the most in this episode? Email us at hello@nichetomeetyou.show. Niche to Meet You is an independent audio project created and reported by me, Leslie Thompson. Chris Thiessen is our associate script editor, and episodes were mastered by Kevin Morris. Abigail Flowers composed the theme song, and the arrangement you hear under you is by Mike Hicks. I want to thank Blue Dot Sessions for the additional music and give a shout out to John McLaughlin, whose song Snowing you heard toward the end of this episode. Listen to the other episodes and leave a review to tell us what you think.